Kale Draven had never expected his life to take a turn like this. He was a warrior, a soldier who thrived on battlefields and tactical missions, but this new assignment was unlike anything he had faced. He had fought alien invaders, outsmarted mercenary gangs, and led human forces to victory in countless skirmishes. But now, he was entrusted with something entirely different: the safety of two alien princesses, both of whom were prisoners from opposing planets. It was a responsibility that weighed heavily on him, heavier than any armor he had ever worn. The Human Council had summoned him to a secret chamber deep inside the Earth Orbital Command Station. The walls were lined with glowing panels, displaying holographic maps of distant planets and star systems. 3 counselors sat across from him, their expressions serious. "Kale," began Counselor Wren, a stern woman with silver hair, "we are assigning you a mission of the utmost importance. It is not a combat mission, though your skills will be required. You will escort and protect 2 captives, alien princesses, from hostile worlds. Their survival is critical for the peace of multiple star systems. Both are highly intelligent and skilled in ways you may not be prepared for. They are key to negotiating peace between their worlds and preventing an interstellar war. You must ensure their safety at all costs." He had faced soldiers, beasts, and alien machines designed to kill, but he had never been tasked with guarding 2 royal figures whose lives depended not only on his strength, but also on his judgment and diplomacy. "I accept," he said finally, "but I need to know everything about them. Their abilities, their weaknesses, their habits. I can't protect what I don't understand." Sarah was smaller, more agile in appearance, with short, metallic blue hair and a piercing gaze that seemed to analyze everything in her path. "Both are trained in combat and strategy," said Counselor Merrick. "Leora has psychic abilities that allow her to sense danger and anticipate actions. Sarah is a technological prodigy, capable of hacking systems and understanding alien tech far beyond our comprehension. They are not helpless, but they are vulnerable in captivity. You must earn their trust quickly." But he had never backed down from a challenge. He would succeed. When the briefing ended, Kale was escorted to the holding facility on a remote asteroid, where both princesses were being kept under heavy guard. The facility was designed like a fortress, with multiple layers of security, energy barriers, and surveillance drones. As he approached the holding cells, he saw the princesses for the first time in person. Leora was sitting calmly in the center of her cell, her violet eyes observing Kale with curiosity and caution. Sarah paced her cell restlessly, her metallic blue hair catching the light as she moved, clearly sizing up both Kale and the guards. Kale stepped forward, raising his hands slightly in a gesture of peace. "I'm Kale Draven. I've been assigned to bring you both to safety. One wrong move, and we could end up dead because of your arrogance. We are not children to be protected. We are leaders of our worlds. I know that humans have fought against your people, and that makes my mission harder. But I am not your enemy. My orders are clear: to get you both out of here alive. You will not be left behind, and no harm will come to you while I am in charge. How can we be sure you are not leading us into a trap?" That night, he spoke with them individually. With Leora, he discussed strategy and shared stories of past missions, subtly showing his intelligence and calm under pressure. She listened carefully, occasionally asking questions that tested his knowledge and judgment. With Sarah, he focused on technology, discussing the ship they would use and the security systems that protected her cell. Sarah was skeptical but intrigued. By dawn, the plan was ready. Kale had memorized guard rotations, the timing of surveillance drones, and the weaknesses in the energy barriers. He approached the princesses once more, this time with a confident smile. "We leave tonight," he said. "I need you both to trust me just enough to follow my lead. You are capable, yes, but together we can escape and survive." Using a combination of stealth, precision, and human ingenuity, he disabled the outer defenses without triggering alarms. Leora's psychic senses helped them avoid patrols, while Sarah's hacking skills allowed them to override security doors. The 3 moved as a coordinated team, each contributing their unique strengths. The final challenge was a massive energy barrier separating the princesses from the ship that would take them to safety. Kale studied it, noting the timing and power fluctuations. With a well-timed jump, he activated the emergency override he had prepared, allowing Leora and Sarah to pass through. The barrier sparked and hissed but did not stop them. As they boarded the spacecraft, alarms finally blared, signaling the discovery of their escape. Kale piloted the ship skillfully, weaving through asteroid fields and dodging patrol drones. The princesses, though initially tense, watched as Kale's quick thinking saved them multiple times. For the first time, Leora spoke, her voice tinged with admiration. "You are clever, Kale Draven. Perhaps humans are more capable than I imagined. We will need it if we are to survive what comes next." Kale sat in the cockpit, hands steady on the controls, eyes fixed on the unknown path ahead. He had faced countless battles in his life, but this mission was different. It was not just about survival or victory. It was about trust, loyalty, and proving that humanity could rise above suspicion and fear. And so, with two alien princesses by his side, Kale Draven entered the first night of a journey that would change the course of human and alien history forever. The spacecraft cut through the void of space, its engines humming steadily as Kale Draven guided them away from the prison asteroid. The stars stretched endlessly ahead, and for a brief moment the three of them could breathe without immediate danger. Yet Kale knew that the moment was temporary. Escape was only the first step. Survival was another matter entirely. Leora sat quietly beside the navigation console, her violet eyes fixed on the stars, sensing movements Kale could not. "We are being followed," she said softly, her voice calm but urgent, Kale's brow furrowed. "Followed? How far back?" "I can create a temporary scramble in our signal, but it will only last a few minutes. They are already triangulating our position. Whoever is pursuing us is skilled, and they know how to handle alien tech." "I'll handle the rest." Sarah's fingers moved faster across the control panel, rerouting power to shields and engines while sending false signals to confuse their pursuers. Leora's mind reached outward, sensing the presence of multiple ships lying in wait among the shadows of asteroids. Kale plotted their course, weaving the spacecraft through the asteroid belt in a series of tight maneuvers, avoiding collisions and remaining unpredictable. "Hold on," Kale warned. "This is going to get rough." Kale maneuvered skillfully, diving between rocks and using the gravitational pull of larger asteroids to sling the ship in unexpected directions. Lasers streaked past them, hitting asteroids that exploded into clouds of debris. The princesses clutched their seats, but neither panicked. "You're incredible," Leora said quietly, almost to herself. "Your ability to think and react is unusual for a human. I'll give you the opening." "Good work," he said, glancing at both princesses. "We're not safe yet, but we're holding our own." Strategy, timing, and adaptability, those are what win battles. The pursuing ships struggled to follow, some colliding with debris or being forced to retreat temporarily. "That was close," Sarah said, her voice a mixture of relief and excitement. "You think of everything." The princesses began to relax slightly, though they remained alert. Leora finally spoke more openly, her voice softening. "I underestimated humans," she admitted. "I believed you would be impulsive, reckless, but you think and act with purpose. It is admirable." "But thank you." Night fell across the stars, and the ship's interior lights dimmed to conserve energy. Kale reviewed their systems, checking fuel levels, shields, and navigation paths. "We need to find a safe place to land soon. We can't keep running indefinitely." It is uninhabited and has natural defenses. It could serve as a temporary refuge. The planet's surface was rugged, with towering cliffs and deep canyons. Kale guided the ship through a narrow pass, avoiding jagged rocks and hidden crevices. Sarah worked alongside him, fine-tuning controls to maintain stability, while Leora's psychic awareness warned them of any natural hazards. When the ship finally touched down, all three exhaled. They had made it. For the first time, there was a sense of temporary safety. Kale powered down the engines, keeping them ready in case pursuit resumed. "Good work," Kale said, looking at the princesses. "We survived, but this is just the beginning. You are more than a warrior, you are a leader. Your skills saved us as much as mine did." Kale taught them some human survival techniques, from using natural formations for cover to improvising traps in case of pursuit. As the day passed, a cautious friendship began to form. Leora started sharing stories of her world, its culture, and the political stakes at play. Sarah revealed the technological marvels of Thales, her home planet, and the challenges her people faced in the larger galactic conflict. Kale listened, asked questions, and offered insight from a human perspective. Slowly, they began to understand one another, not just as allies, but as individuals capable of respecting each other's strengths. The sun set over the alien horizon, painting the rocky terrain in shades of orange and purple. Kale stood at the edge of a cliff, looking out at the vast expanse of stars and planets beyond. He thought about the mission ahead, the dangers lurking in uncharted space, and the trust he was slowly building with the two princesses. "We've made it this far," Kale said quietly. "And we will make it farther. But the galaxy is not forgiving. We must be ready for anything. And if anyone doubts humans, they will soon learn what we have already discovered. That you are clever, resourceful, and capable of rising above challenges that others cannot overcome." The mission was far from over, but he had learned something vital. Human ingenuity, combined with courage and trust, could achieve what many would consider impossible. And with Leora and Sarah by his side, he was no longer alone in the vast emptiness of space. As night enveloped the alien world, the three of them prepared for the challenges to come. Kale knew that enemies would find them, that danger was never far, and that the mission's true test had only just begun. But for the first time, he felt a deep sense of purpose, not just as a warrior, but as a protector and a leader. And in that moment, under the stars of an unfamiliar planet, a bond was formed that would carry them through the perils ahead, proving that humanity, though young in the galaxy, could rise to meet any challenge with courage, intelligence, and heart. Kale Draven woke to the faint glow of the alien planet's twin suns. The light spilled over the jagged cliffs and rocky terrain, highlighting the rugged beauty of the world. He stretched and checked the ship's systems. Though the vessel had survived their escape, minor damage needed repair, and they could not risk staying too long in one place. The galaxy was vast, but enemies were persistent. The princesses had already begun their morning routines. Leora stood at the edge of a canyon, her violet eyes closed, sensing movements in the rocky expanse around them. She murmured softly to herself, detecting subtle vibrations, faint heat signatures, and signs of approaching predators, both animal and mechanical. Sarah, on the other hand, crouched over the ship's systems, repairing minor damages and upgrading shields while simultaneously scanning for signals from the pursuers. Her fingers moved with precision, displaying the calm confidence of someone accustomed to solving complex problems under pressure. Kale approached them, taking in their focus and dedication. "Good morning," he said. "How are our scouts today?" "Any attack will find it harder to break through, but the pursuing ships are resourceful. They will not give up easily." They trained together, practicing combat drills that combined human techniques with the princesses' unique abilities. Leora demonstrated ways to sense enemy movement and subtle energy shifts, while Sarah taught Kale how to manipulate alien technology to gain tactical advantages. Despite their differences, a sense of unity began to form. The princesses had initially been wary of Kale, questioning his intentions and abilities. But as they observed his careful planning, calm decision-making, and unwavering focus, respect began to grow. They recognized that humans were more than brute strength and impulsive action. They could think creatively, adapt quickly, and act decisively in situations where hesitation would mean failure. As dusk approached, a faint signal appeared on Sarah's scanner. She frowned. "Kale, someone is trying to communicate with us. It's encrypted, but it carries a pattern I recognize. This is not random. It is intelligence, someone who knows we escaped." "Then we find out who it is, and quickly. I don't like surprises, and neither should you." Kale's senses were sharp. Years of battle had taught him to notice the smallest details, the faintest movements, the subtle shifts in the environment that indicated danger. After several tense minutes, Sarah cracked the code. The message was brief but clear. A shadowy coalition of rogue alien factions, united under a common goal, was aware of the princesses' escape. They intended to capture them and use them to destabilize multiple interstellar governments. The message was also a warning. Resistance would be met with overwhelming force. Kale's jaw tightened. "They are organized and they are serious. This isn't just about recapturing the princesses. They want to destabilize the galaxy itself. We are no longer running from random enemies. This is a coordinated threat. We must act carefully. They will not underestimate us lightly. Otherwise, we will be walking into a trap." Leora's psychic abilities allowed them to detect subtle signals and vibrations that would have gone unnoticed by normal sensors. She sensed patrol patterns, hidden drones, and even the presence of predators that could be exploited or avoided. Sarah manipulated the ship's sensors and technology, detecting communication networks and gathering data on enemy movements. Kale led them with a steady hand, using the terrain to their advantage. He established temporary observation points, marking routes that allowed them to move unseen while keeping a wide field of vision. He instructed the princesses on human reconnaissance techniques, teaching them how to blend into their environment, how to anticipate enemy strategies, and how to exploit weaknesses. By the evening, they discovered the first clues about the coalition's operations. A series of hidden bases, automated patrols, and supply routes indicated that the enemy was well prepared and heavily organized. But Kale, Leora, and Sarah also discovered weaknesses: poorly guarded communication hubs, predictable patrol schedules, and overconfidence in their technology. These vulnerabilities gave Kale hope. "We can use this," Kale said. "With careful planning, we can gather more intelligence, disrupt their operations, and gain the upper hand. We do not need to fight head-on yet. Strategy will serve us better than brute force. The coalition will not wait for us to move at their pace." They were not helpless captives. They were partners, allies, and valuable assets. Together, they formed a team capable of facing dangers that no single individual could overcome. Over the next several days, they worked tirelessly, moving through hidden valleys and abandoned structures, gathering intelligence on the coalition. They observed enemy routines, identified key leaders, and mapped supply lines. Each discovery brought new challenges, requiring quick thinking and creative solutions. Kale's combat experience, Leora's psychic insight, and Sarah's technological expertise allowed them to navigate dangerous situations that would have destroyed less capable teams. One evening, as they camped in a narrow canyon, Leora spoke quietly. "Kale, I have sensed something, a presence larger than anything we have encountered. It is not close, but it is powerful and dangerous. We must be ready. They will come for us soon, and they will bring overwhelming force." Kale checked weapons and shields, Leora focused on sensing approaching dangers, and Sarah ensured that communications and sensors were optimized. They moved as a cohesive unit, each aware of their role and the importance of trust in their survival. Hours later, faint lights flickered in the distance. The coalition had arrived, deploying scouts to search for their location. Leora's senses detected their approach, while Sarah disrupted communications to delay detection. Kale positioned them strategically, using terrain and shadows to their advantage. The first contact was brief but intense. Coalition drones moved through the canyon, searching for signs of the humans and princesses. Kale's careful planning and quick thinking allowed them to avoid detection, while Leora and Sarah disrupted and manipulated the enemy's sensors. By the time the main forces arrived, the coalition had underestimated their opponents. Kale had turned their own assumptions against them, using deception, patience, and strategy to survive the initial encounter. When the night ended, the coalition retreated temporarily, confused and frustrated by the resistance they had faced. Kale, Leora, and Sarah took stock of their situation. They had survived, gathered intelligence, and demonstrated the effectiveness of their teamwork. "We have made an impact," Kale said, his voice steady but determined. "They will return stronger and more prepared. But we will also be ready. Humans can adapt, and so can you. Together, we are stronger than any force that believes we are weak. If the coalition believes they can control us, they will learn their mistakes soon enough." And for the first time, he felt that the galaxy itself was watching, waiting to see if humanity could rise to the challenge. As dawn approached, the three of them prepared to move again, their minds focused, their trust in each other deepened, and their resolve stronger than ever. They were no longer simply fugitives. They were a team capable of facing any threat, navigating any danger, and proving that human ingenuity, courage, and determination could stand against even the most powerful enemies in the galaxy. And so the journey continued, through danger, uncertainty, and the growing shadow of a coalition that would soon learn that underestimating humans was a mistake they would regret. The alien horizon was painted with shades of red and gold as the twin suns dipped below jagged cliffs. Kale Draven surveyed the canyon where they had spent the night, knowing full well that the calm was temporary. The coalition of rogue alien factions had retreated for now, but they would return with greater force. Kale had expected it. He had prepared for it. "Today we fight smart," Kale said, his voice steady as he addressed Leora and Sarah. "They believe they can overwhelm us. They are wrong. They have numbers and firepower, but we have strategy, adaptability, and each other. That will be enough. If we coordinate perfectly, they will never know what hit them." The coalition's ships were faster and more heavily armed, but they were predictable, relying on superior technology and sheer numbers. Kale turned their assumptions against them. Using the rugged terrain, he forced enemy forces into narrow passes where firepower counted for little. Leora's psychic perception allowed them to anticipate ambushes, while Sarah disrupted communication and navigation systems, causing confusion among the attackers. The first skirmish erupted with blinding flashes of light and the roar of energy weapons. Kale maneuvered with precision, dodging attacks and guiding the princesses to safe vantage points. They returned fire when necessary, but their goal was not destruction alone. It was survival, intelligence gathering, and creating the appearance of greater strength than they truly possessed. Leora extended her senses outward, detecting enemy positions and movements. "They are overextending their front lines," she reported. "If we strike here and here, we can force them into a trap. Let's finish this before they realize what's happening." The princesses proved invaluable. Leora's psychic abilities allowed them to anticipate counterattacks, while Sarah's technological expertise disrupted enemy targeting systems. Despite the chaos, Kale remained calm, issuing clear commands and guiding the princesses with precision. Each movement, each decision was deliberate and calculated. They were outnumbered, outgunned, and far from any friendly reinforcements, but they had one advantage that no alien technology could counter: human ingenuity, courage, and the ability to adapt instantly. Hours passed in a blur of movement, strategy, and confrontation. The coalition forces struggled to understand how a small group, including 2 alien princesses, could resist so effectively. Kale's tactics were unpredictable, blending human combat techniques with clever use of terrain and improvisation. Leora's insights allowed them to anticipate threats before they became dangerous, while Sarah's hacking disrupted enemy plans at critical moments. At one point, a massive enemy vehicle advanced through the canyon, its weapons capable of destroying their ship in seconds. Kale analyzed the terrain quickly. "We can use the cliffs above to our advantage," he said. "Sarah, redirect our ship's energy to launch debris at their path. Leora, guide me to the optimal position." The coalition faltered, realizing that their technological superiority was not enough. Each attack Kale orchestrated exploited enemy weaknesses they had never considered. By evening, the battlefield had quieted. The coalition forces had been forced to retreat, disorganized and frustrated. Kale, Leora, and Sarah gathered, exhausted but victorious. They had survived, learned more about their enemies, and proven that even a small team could outmaneuver a powerful foe. "You fought brilliantly," Leora said, her tone filled with respect. "I have never seen such coordination and ingenuity. Humans are impressive. We survived because of you, and because of us working together." Kale tended to minor repairs on the ship, while the princesses shared their knowledge of the galaxy's political landscape. Leora spoke of her people's struggles and the challenges of ruling a planet in constant conflict. Sarah described the technological advances of Thales and the importance of alliances in a galaxy where power could shift in an instant. Kale listened, absorbing the information, understanding that the fight was bigger than just survival. The coalition was not simply after the princesses. They sought to destabilize entire systems, using fear, manipulation, and power to control the galaxy. Their victory in the canyon was only a small step in a much larger battle. The following day, Kale decided it was time to move again. Remaining in one place too long would invite another attack, and the coalition would be more prepared next time. They gathered supplies, repaired the ship fully, and charted a course toward a series of neutral planets where they could gather more intelligence. During the flight, Kale reflected on the progress they had made. The princesses were no longer mere captives. They were allies, trusted partners in a mission that required skill, courage, and intelligence. Together, they had turned what could have been a desperate flight into a series of tactical victories, proving that humans were capable of ingenuity and resourcefulness that even advanced alien factions underestimated. As they approached the next planetary system, Sarah detected unusual signals in a nearby asteroid field. "Kale, this could be a coalition observation post. We can gather valuable information if we approach carefully. Their defenses will be stronger than those we have faced so far." Kale guided the ship through narrow gaps and hidden tunnels, using natural shadows to conceal their presence. Leora's psychic perception allowed them to sense hidden defenses, while Sarah hacked the observation systems, feeding false readings to mask their movements. Hours of careful navigation brought them to the heart of the asteroid field, where a coalition observation post floated silently, monitoring the surrounding space. Kale studied it carefully. "We need to get as close as possible without detection. Sarah, can you hack into their system?" "I can access their data, but we need to be ready to leave at a moment's notice. If they detect us, it will be bad." Sarah accessed their communication and data logs, gathering critical intelligence on enemy movements, bases, and plans. Every piece of information was valuable, revealing the coalition's weaknesses and patterns. Suddenly, an alarm blared from the post. A coalition scout had detected a fluctuation in the system. Kale acted instantly, maneuvering the ship into a narrow tunnel within the asteroid, using the terrain to hide. Leora's senses alerted them to the scout's movements, while Sarah manipulated the post's sensors, creating confusion. The scout fired briefly, but Kale's quick thinking and precise control allowed them to escape without damage. The data they had gathered was invaluable. They now had a clearer picture of the coalition's plans and vulnerabilities. As they exited the asteroid field, Kale looked at the princesses. "We did well. Today, we learned more about our enemies and proved again that humans can adapt and overcome even the most powerful threats. You have shown us that courage, intelligence, and adaptability can rival even the strongest forces in the galaxy. Together, humans and alien allies could overcome the odds. Humanity had proven itself once again, not through brute force alone, but through ingenuity, courage, and the ability to rise above challenges." As the ship sailed into the darkness of space, Kale knew that the battles ahead would be harder, more dangerous, and require even greater skill. But he also knew that they had proven a vital truth, that when humans stand with allies, when courage meets intelligence, nothing could stop them from achieving the impossible. And so they moved forward, into the heart of danger, ready to face whatever the galaxy would throw at them, confident that human ingenuity and bravery could meet any challenge and turn the tide in their favor. The silence of deep space felt heavier than any battlefield Kale Draven had ever faced. Stars stretched endlessly around the ship as it moved toward the final coordinates Sarah had extracted from the Coalition's data. This was it, the heart of the enemy's operation, the place where the fate of not only 2 alien princesses but many worlds would be decided. Kale stood in the cockpit, arms crossed, eyes focused on the glowing navigation display. He had led many missions before, but this one felt different. The weight of responsibility pressed on him, not just as a warrior, but as a symbol of what humans could be when the galaxy underestimated them. Leora stood beside him, calm yet alert. Her psychic senses reached far beyond the ship, brushing against faint disturbances in space. "We are close," she said softly. "I can feel them. Their fear and their arrogance. We don't fight fair, we fight smart. Once we move in, there's no turning back. Then let's finish this together." They docked silently with an outer maintenance ring. Kale led the way inside, his movements precise and controlled. The station was quiet, too quiet. The Coalition had not expected an attack from a single ship carrying 3 individuals. Inside the station, Sarah immediately connected to the core systems. "I can shut down sections of the station," she whispered. "But once I start, they will know we're here." When confronted, he disabled enemies efficiently, never wasting motion or energy. The Coalition commanders soon realized the threat was real. They attempted to seal off the command chamber, but Sarah bypassed their locks. The doors slid open, revealing the leaders of the Coalition, beings from multiple species, united by fear of losing control. "You should not be here, human," one of them said. "This galaxy is not yours to shape." "That ends now." Using human unpredictability, he triggered a chain reaction Sarah had prepared. The station's own defenses turned inward, disabling weapons and sealing escape routes. Chaos followed, but it was controlled chaos. Kale guided the evacuation of non-combat personnel, proving once again that humans did not need cruelty to win. Leora used her abilities to calm panicked minds, preventing unnecessary destruction. Sarah ensured the station's data was transmitted to neutral governments across the galaxy. When it was over, the Coalition's command structure collapsed. Their fleets withdrew, leaderless and exposed. The threat that had loomed over countless worlds was broken, not by overwhelming force, but by strategy, cooperation, and courage. As their ship pulled away from the station, Kale finally allowed himself to relax. The stars seemed brighter now, the silence less heavy. "You did it," Sarah said, leaning back in her seat. A single human warrior helped end a galactic conspiracy. Alliances were formed, treaties drafted, and peace talks began. The story of a human warrior entrusted with two captive princesses spread far and wide, becoming a symbol of hope. When they finally arrived at a neutral world chosen for negotiations, representatives from many species awaited them. Leora and Sarah stepped forward, no longer captives, but leaders strengthened by experience. Before they parted, Leora placed a hand over her heart. "Kale Draven, history will remember you, not as a conqueror, but as a guardian." Strength was not just in weapons or muscles. It was in choices, restraint, and the courage to trust. As he returned to his ship, Kale looked once more at the stars. Humanity was still young in the galaxy, still underestimated. But that was fine. Humans had always thrived when underestimated. The galaxy had tested humanity by placing two alien princesses in the care of a single human warrior. Humanity passed the test, and the stars would remember it.